There's a concentrated effort to stop it. They'll do anything to stop us, especially now. Because when is our opposition?
He's been fighting for us for so long. So many schools of thoughts we've been through, yeah, to keep us strong. So tell me, what is it that you're willing to do to make our dreams come true? Yeah, make our dreams come true. Been a long time coming, but now we're here. So won't you stand up and show no fear? For the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. 'Cause he's a man of the hour. They kidnapped him for building Tamare. He put his life on the line for us all. And for the truth, the lies must fade away. Fade away. It's been a long time coming. Yes, let's be strong. For the 7 seals are breaking. It won't be long to make our dreams come true. For a life that's new. Some are called and few are chosen. Said, how about you? For the master, master teacher. Freedom 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 for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Think not that we are earthborn, we come from earth, we may be, but we are life-born spirit, and without knowing we can never be free. Knowledge of this was lost when we were cast into blindness. The master teacher came and broke the chains of bondage. For the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, bring the master teacher. Bring the freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, bring the master teacher. Bring the freedom for the master, master teacher. 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 Freedom for the master.
They did everything in their power to take this land and make sure that what's happening right now does not go on. They tried every trick in the book. They ain't finished. They tried slander, defamation of character. They tried to lock brothers up, harass sisters on the street, stop every car coming down, make sure they did everything they could. And not one person come out and help us. Why? Because they had us marked as a cult. Oh, there's some crazy suicide cult. There's a concentrated effort to stop it. They'll do anything to stop us, especially now. Because when is our opposition?
He's been fighting for us for so long. So many schools of thoughts we've been through, yeah, to keep us strong. So tell me, what is it that you're willing to do to make our dreams come true? Yeah, make our dreams come true. Been a long time coming, but now we're here. So won't you stand up and show no fear? For the master, fade away. It's been a long time coming. Yes, let's be strong. For the 7 seals are breaking. It won't be long to make our dreams come true. For a life that's new. Some are called and few are chosen. But how about you? For the master teacher, freedom 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 for the master teacher. Think not that we are earthborn, we come from earth, we may be, but we are life-born spirit, and without knowing we can never be free. Knowledge of this was lost when we were cast into blindness. The master teacher came and broke the chains of bondage. For the master teacher, freedom 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 for the master.
They did everything in their power to take this land and make sure that what's happening right now does not go on. They tried every trick in the book. They ain't finished. They tried slander, defamation of character. They tried to lock brothers up, harass sisters on the street, stop every car coming down and make sure they did everything they could. And not one person come out and help us. Why? Because they had us marked as a cult. Oh, there's some crazy suicide cult. There's a concentrated effort to stop it. They'll do anything to stop us, especially now. Because where is our opposition?
He's been fighting for us for so long. So many schools of thoughts we've been through, yeah, to keep us strong. So tell me, what is it that you're willing to do to make our dreams come true? Yeah, make our dreams come true. Been a long time coming, but now we're here. So won't you stand up and show no fear? For the master teacher, freedom for the master teacher, freedom for the master teacher, freedom for the master teacher. 'Cause he's a man of the hour. They kidnapped him for building Tamarae. He put his life on the line for us all. And for the truth, the lies must fade away. It's been a long time coming. Yes, let's be strong. For the 7 seals are breaking. It won't be long to make our dreams come true. For a life that's new. Some are called and few are chosen. How about you? For the master teacher, freedom for the master teacher, freedom for the master teacher, freedom for the master teacher, without knowing we could never be free. Knowledge of this was lost when we were cast into blindness. The master teacher came and broke the chains of bondage. For the master, master teacher, freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher, freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher, freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher, freedom for the master, bring it master teacher, bring it freedom for the master, master teacher, freedom for the master, bring it master teacher, bring it freedom for the master, master teacher, 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 freedom for the master.
They did everything in their power to take this land and make sure that what's happening right now does not go on. They tried every trick in the book. They ain't finished. They tried slander, defamation of character. They tried to lock brothers up, harass sisters on the street, stop every car coming down and make sure they did everything they could. And not one person come out and help us. Why? Because they had us marked as a cult. Oh, there's some crazy suicide cult. There's a concentrated effort to stop it. They'll do anything to stop us, especially now. Because where is our opposition?
He's been fighting for us for so long. So many schools of thoughts we've been through, yeah, to keep us strong. So tell me, what is it that you're willing to do to make our dreams come true? Yeah, make our dreams come true. Been a long time coming, but now we're here. So won't you stand up and show no fear? For the master, master teacher, freedom for the master, master teacher, freedom for the master, master teacher, freedom for the master, master teacher. 'Cause he's a man of the hour. They kidnapped him for building Tamarae. He put his life on the line for us all, and for the truth the lies must fade away. Fade away. It's been a long time coming. Yes, let's be strong. For the 7 seals are breaking. It won't be long to make our dreams come true. For a life that's new. Some are called and few are chosen.
Wu-Sabat Moisar. Greetings, family. Once again, we're live. OSM Vision. Make sure you're sharing. Caring is sharing. Or sharing is caring. Make sure that you let everyone know we're live. Greetings, Levi, Celestial, Shelly-Ann, I Love Africa, Natasha, everyone joining. Greetings, greetings, greetings. Nebu Rahubat, Soldad Rahubat, Bananu 9 Rahubat. So yeah, we're live on all the social media platforms, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, of course. And we want you to share, like, subscribe, comment. Yeah, we're going to drop a link in the chat for our flyer that you can also share, print it, share it, you know, just help us reach as many people as you can. The OSM Wu-Sabat flyer. It just helps. So you can do your bit. Every little bit counts. You just click the link, download the flyers front and back, and you can print it, give it out, share. Because people always ask, how can I help? What can we do to help? These are the little things you can do to help. You know, it doesn't really take that much from you, where you can just share it on all your social media platforms. You know, you can just click a tick, give the thumbs up, comment where you are, what part of the world we're reaching, you know, how Wu-Sabat has changed your life. No, you can always send your live questions here as well. If you're outside the UK, the country code is +44. Then the number is 7539 996. Sorry, 53996 3882. It's on the screen anyway. It's always on the screen, so you can always call in live if you want to ask your question live. All right. Okay, so I'm looking at people joining. Proud to be a Nuwaubian. Yeah, I like that, Nebu. We should be. Before we get into the questions, just let more people join. Remember, the fastest way to get your question answered is you can leave a voicemail if you're busy. If you can't come on live, you can leave a voice note and we will get that answered for you as well. Remember, we always have the other ways that you can also ask your questions, like recording 3 of your questions and posting them in, going to osmvision.wetransfer.com, uploading your questions, and that, you know, we can get those answered for you as well. You can attend live classes every single week on Saturdays, same time, 7 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Yeah, welcome Coco Brown. See ya, Bonga Man, Bongam. Sorry, some of your profile names are a bit difficult to pronounce. Brian Rahubat, Deluxe Rahubat, Simon Stern Rahubat. Yeah, Kareem Rahubat. All right, so let's just see what we got here. Levi says, can we indigenous woolly-haired black Indians and black Americans who belong to the El Hoplo group identify as Yamasee Nuwaubian Native Americans? Much shook. I mean, no disrespect. At the end of the day, we can identify with so many titles, but to be honest, we should be identifying now as Sabians or Nuwaubians, which is, Nuwaubian is always there, so just identify as a Nuwaubian. Because when we start going into some of those other IDs, it's just like, you know, we had to kind of leave those alone for now by the request of the master teacher. Just because you have many titles or many names or many bloodlines, it doesn't mean you have to use all of them at the same time. Sometimes you have to know when to duck and fold and when to come out and use. That's what a master did for years. He knew how, you know, we were going through the different schools and what titles to use when, because sometimes using a particular title may not be safe. Islamic or Nuwaubian, Islamic Hebrews, or Sabians or Nuwaubian. We're indigenous everywhere, really, if you want to really look at it that way. And we gotta, you know, we're trying to tie ourselves to so many places, but, you know, we are who we are. We're indigenous worldwide. Okay, I think we can go to the voice notes. Rahubat, everyone joining, Rahubat, Rahubat. Yeah, let's take the first voice note.
Hypothetically, if you became a telepath, what books could you study to help you build your self-control?
Hypothetically, if you became a telepath, what books could you use to help build your self-control? You see, we don't deal with hypothetics, number one, because, you know, when we say hypothetically, we're really saying something that is not real. So, but I don't know if you meant empath or telepath, because do you mean like being telepathic in terms of being able to mind communicate with other people, control mind to mind. Is that what you mean by telepath? And yes, you can train your mind to be able to exercise some of those higher senses you have, like telepathy. And that's where things like meditation, stillness, discipline in terms of fasting, there are things that you use, abstaining from something that is right in front of you that, you can have. That's where that type of mental discipline comes in. Mental discipline is very, very difficult to achieve sometimes because your mind is the most powerful force that you have. So learning to train your mind is one of the best ways to be able to utilize the mind to do things that you'd be amazed, because remember that you can manifest things by the power of the mind. But the mind doesn't work by itself. It works in conjunction with other parts, like your intentions, your heart seat, which tie into truth, and so on and so forth. But yeah, just like learn how to be very, very disciplined. So you can be, the point of meditation is to be able to like escape your mind being distracted from the everyday and your surroundings. So once you do that, you can focus and tune in on a specific vibration or a frequency. And the thing about getting these higher powers or higher senses working is so that you can, I guess you can, what's the word I'm trying to think of? You can then be able to control it. Yeah, so like for example, if you have telepathy is a two-way communication, but you have to be able to know how to basically block everything else and tune into that specific channel. It's like having a radio, and the dial can dial to, you can hear all the different stations as you're going through, but the ability to fine tune and channel or home in on a particular frequency, and then all the rest are not there. But if you don't know how to do that, you can hear all the voices at the same time and you can't turn them off. So then you can't actually channel the communication and direct it to the person that you actually want to speak to. Greetings, Hafuzel, Michelangelo, and all the new people joining in. Reveal, even Rahubat. Georgia beating Rahubat, Sekhet Rahubat. Okay, let's get the next question.
Hi, my name's Stephanie. I wanted to call in and ask a question, but I thought I'd send it as a voice note. So I've been following your channel for a while, and I know you have a lot of information in regards to other beings, such as the Pleiadians and I think the Syrian. But I'm just curious to understand why beings associated with these collectives might choose to make contact with certain individuals. Is there a particular purpose, message, or reason behind these type of contacts, and why might one person experience it while another doesn't?
Yeah, first of all, the thing to establish is that different beings have different motives and different agendas. They also have family or children or beings that relate to them on the planet. So some of them, they trade. See, sometimes we forget, we have to look at things how we are on the planet and the things we do, that they do similar things, such as trade, make deals. If they know someone has got something, or they're in a position or have power to do something, they may want to contact them and utilize them. Sometimes they might just want to harvest your genes, your DNA, or they look at if you're in a position of power and you can make certain decisions, then they might contact you. Some people, like I said, are actually their children, meaning that they may have abducted people and produced children, or even do what we call a 3-parent birth, where they've, so you may have a couple, they're getting, I was going to say they're pregnant, but obviously the woman's pregnant, but they're trying to have a child, let's say, and some of these extraterrestrials can inject themselves within that birthing process, and then the child is going to be a 3-parent birth. And that might be because of whatever they want to utilize that person. They will put probes, little like chips in different beings to monitor them. Some of them are projects, they will watch you throughout your life. So it literally depends on what it is that they want. And the different extraterrestrials that have children on the planet, they are also trying to save their children from disaster. So our ancestors, the Natharu, have, sent our master teacher, Dr. Malachi Z.K. York, Planabab, to come and basically help all of humanity, but his main goal is on the Negroid, or we said the Nagarnadu race, and then anyone else who's willing to listen. And so they have an interest in us, those of us who are willing to transform ourselves from being just regular programmed beings that just follow blindly and are still in the state of amnesia or in the state of sleep. They want to wake those up who are ready and want to develop to be a full supreme being. Then you have like other extraterrestrials that are fighting for the planet, for the resources, for them to live on and take over and eliminate anyone who's causing the planet to, affect them or bring about chaos. So you have Pleiadians that are also here to try and help their race in terms of helping them save themselves as well. And then you have the ones that are just coming for food. And so it literally depends on what extraterrestrial we're talking about, who they have alliances with, and what's their motive and what's their agenda for contact. Some people are just abducted for food. Some are abducted to be experimented on. Some are abducted to utilize to produce hybrids, or offsprings are hybrids. So it all depends on the situation, and they want to go to people that can do things. So they always say, take me to your leader, when they make jokes out of extraterrestrials landing on this planet. They want to go to the man that can make decisions. There are many deals that they've had contracts with for many years, and they're honoring those contracts, or some of them are breaking the contracts. So it really all depends where they're from and what they're here to do. All right, move on to the next question.
How do you become more spiritually aligned?
By how do you become more spiritually aligned? By doing spiritual things. People will say, what is that? So you have your physical body, but you also have your spiritual body. And just the way you do things for your physical body, like you do things like you eat, you maybe exercise, you sleep, all the things you might look at yourself and groom yourself. You do all of that for the physical body. There are things you do for your spiritual body, which is things like I mentioned previously: fasting, meditation, just being able to sit still, contemplating on the higher things in life, about life. Much, you know, just mindfulness, things that deal with the non-physical you, basically. Discipline. So you become more in tune when you start to do things that feed not your flesh, but your spiritual or your higher self. Your mind plays a very important part of that, in terms of what you think all day and what those thoughts, when we say think, what you're doing is really tapping into the mental reservoir. And the mental reservoir is like, let's call it a library of all thoughts, ideas, etc., etc. So it's like if you tap into, and it's like, you know, like how we describe the cloud. Yeah, you know, we've got like Google Drive, iCloud, and there's a lot of information there from different people. But depending on who you are, you have privileges or access to different levels of information. So when you're thinking and you start to go beyond thinking and start dealing with reasoning and start dealing with tapping into drawing from the higher vibrations, you know, people will say things like they received inspiration or whatever. It's because your level or quality, the quality of your thoughts is very important. Because if you're just thinking about the mundane things in life, you're preoccupied with just being a consumer and thinking about arguments and quarrels and just the basic stuff, like just what you're going to eat. Your mind is not being exercised to the point where you can receive higher thoughts or gain access to the higher realms of the mental reservoir, to be able to pull down ideas and things that you can manifest in the physical on a higher level. You know what I'm saying? So people who contemplate and think deeply on higher vibrations are the ones that the idea you come up with can be $1 billion idea, as opposed to when you're just thinking on a very low vibration. All right, let's go for the next one.
Does Wu-Sabat community practice any form of yoga? If not, what practices do you use to attune the body?
Yeah, yoga comes from our practices, our culture. So what you have to remember is that the yoga is going more eastern, like, but they got their teachings from us anyway. Yeah, so we have the breath book, which, if I have it here, may be able to. Yeah, it's called the breath book. So all the things to do with, like, even martial arts, here we go. We were the pioneers of all these things. This is the breath book, and funnily, if you look at the cover, as you say, you see someone sitting in the lotus position, or what people call the lotus position. And see, it's funny because I was speaking to somebody earlier on, and the question of what is life came up. And as simple as that question is, it's actually quite profound and complex, because people can try and define life in many ways, but one of the ways is the breath. Because the breath is what keeps you alive, because you're breathing in and out to stay alive. And there's something within the breath, or what you would call the air that you're breathing, or the oxygen. So when you start to go in detail into what the oxygen is, it has something that people may refer to as chi, but we call it the sakhem, or the sakham, which is the the life force within the breath that keeps you alive. So the quality of air you breathe, how you breathe. There are different exercises of breathing, of how to breathe. One of the basic things is, as simple as it is, people don't know how to breathe properly. So, you know, what do I mean? They don't breathe the way you're designed with your nose. Your nose being the pyramid. Yeah, first pyramid. And you're meant to breathe through your nose and out your mouth. But you watch sometimes people breathe incorrectly, and bad breathing leads to bad health. So, yeah, so this book, The Breath, goes into what you're calling yoga and how we utilize the breath to, because remember that you're channeling energy through your different systems and your different bodies and so on. So I'm going to just read a little bit from this to kind of express the point. So, most things were borrowed from us, and even like when you're dealing with like yoga, which will take you into like Sanskrit and then Krishna and into the Hindu. Let me just read from verse 29 on page 9 of the Breath book, which is scroll number 50. The word Christ was also borrowed, yet from the Hanab Ui, the Greek word Christos, from the Sanskrit name Krishna, a Hindu avatar, the Indian savior or Hindu Christ. And it goes on and says, even the Ranan, the name Mary, is from the Egyptian name Marartat, as in Taha Meye Reye or Tamare or Tamare. Taha meaning earth, Meye meaning liquid, water, and Reye meaning sun rays. All existing Za'am at religions and Hadab at cultures of today were stolen and used from us, the original Mukhmat'u Egyptians, the woolly-haired, dark-skinned people called the Nagar Nad'u or Negroids. In fact, what they did not use in their Bible was the real Jesus, who was Harar, Horus, or the real Mary, who was Ashtat, Isis, or the real Yahweh, which is, they say, Jehovah, who was Asar, Osiris. They have been for ages in Egypt and Sumer, men who devoted their time and attention to the development of Homo sapiens. Achach Ali, ethereally, Akal Ali, mentally, and Ka'a Ali, spiritually. 35. The experience of generations of earnest seekers has been handed down for centuries from a triad of teachers, which, in referring to Horus, the son of Ashtat, Isis, the mother, and Osiris, the father, they use Greek's strong number 5207. All right. So I'm going to skip a bit, but that's just showing and talking about how everything was borrowed or stolen from Egypt. And then I'm going to jump to page 16, which goes into the breath. So, breath is life. Verse 62. Haya, life, is absolutely dependent upon the act of yafuk, breathing. 63. Breath is the haya, life, as they may differ upon details of hakak, fact, and terminology. The East and the West agree upon these fundamental principles. 64. To yafuk, breathe, is to live, and without yafak, breath, there is no life. 65. Not only are the higher animals dependent upon breath for haya, life, and nakhab, health, lower forms of huwan, animal, life, must breathe to how you live, for without breath there is no life. 66. Plant life is likewise dependent upon the highway air for continued existence, as they take in carbon dioxide and give off oxygen. 67. Pa'ut, all is, yet in breathing there is a dual principle, jawef, in, and fawed, out. 68. Yafak, breath, is for life, and your gawa, last breath, final exhale, is out at mawat, death. 69. The respiratory system is what controls the breathing rate and depth of breathing. 70. This is determined by the amount of percentage of carbon dioxide, oxygen, and acidosis in the arterial damam, blood. 71. There are receptors called chemoreceptors in the arch of the aorta and throughout the arteries that send signals and feedback to the respiratory center to increase or decrease the ventilatory output depending on the condition of these metabolic variables. For example, when you exercise, carbon dioxide levels increase significantly, which alert the chemoreceptors, which subsequently notify the damag, the brain's respiratory center, to increase the speed and depth of breathing. You know, so we can go on and on, but yeah, the breath book, very important in relation to your question about yoga. All right. Okay, next question, please. Oh, we're getting a lot of questions now.
Could you please explain what notes we would use for Caucasian people? I know you said FAC for black, or whatever the word you used, people. And not all Caucasians are Caucasian of heritage, are they? So what would they use?
Great question. The first thing, as you pointed out, is when we use the word Caucasian, we have to recognize that it doesn't apply to everyone, because that's really dealing with people that came by way of the Caucasus Mountains. However, today there are mixes, many mixes amongst people in general. So you would find that, you know, some people, literally what you're referring to when we look at the term white is different species. That when you look at the word, say Negroid or black, you're talking about different species. So you're right that not everyone can be referred to specifically as a Caucasian. It's a more generalized term. In terms of the notes, we have only really been given our tones, but each race does have their own tones. What we do know is that Caucasians like more high-pitched tones. So if you look at a lot of the music that they listen to, it's going to be more squealing guitars. If you like a lot of rock music, a lot of heavy metal, a lot of music is very heavily based on the electric guitar, or, you know, synthetic electric synthesizers, you see. So yeah, that's a question in terms of which actual notes. That's something we can look into. But yeah, it's going to be more of the higher pitch sounds. So if you were taking the scale, if you look at any scale, like you have, let's say the basic scale of, we'll take F because that's going to contain the notes of our notes, right? So with F, you're going to have F, G, A, then you're going to go B. This is a major scale, by the way. F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, and then F. Now within that, if you took the 1, the 3, and the 5, you get the F major triad. That's our tones. Okay, so so that's FAC. Those are our tones. Now the higher the notes going further down, because you're dealing with the 8 notes if you include the octave. So you get the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, and then the last do again, right? Which will be the octave of the F if you're starting on F. So what I'm saying is, if you look at the FAC, they're more on the lower end of the spectrum of the scale. So the highest notes are going to be the ones that you go back to the octave. So if I'm just saying, if you're operating on the just the major scale. But yeah, it's generally Caucasians, if you listen to the music and the kind of tones that they promote, and then you have to look at the genre of music as well, because now music has been so heavily influenced by black anyway that the most popular music, like let's say hip hop, soul, R&B, a lot of the underneath, even when you're looking at popular songs, where you say pop music, they have a heavy drum and bass undertone, which is really dealing with the Nagaru. But I'm going to look into that question in terms of, are there specific notes or tones for the Caucasian? All right. In fact, whilst before I take the next question, I just want to see, because we do have a few scrolls, like our tone, our wavelength A, our tones, something like that. I'm going to try and find it. It might say something in there. If it doesn't, we also have, there we go. We also have the elixir of life, the mafkozet, and we also have another actual fact that goes into that. I'm just going to quickly have a look and see if there's anything in there that gives you, but I don't recall coming across specific notes just for the Caucasian. So bear with me. I'm finding the scrolls I've just mentioned. I've got 2 of them. I'm just going to try and find one more, and we can have a look at that. Here we go. Here's the other one. Great question, by the way. Great question. Right, let's have a look. Okay, so let's start with our tones wavelength A, which is a Patarak. Okay, that's that one. Let's have a look quick. Yeah, this one only talks about FAC. Yeah, and it just gives the octave from, it uses the C major scale, and it explains obviously C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C for that 1 octave. The note A is the body's tone, the note F is the planet Earth's tone, and the note C is the tone of natural nature or the cosmos. So it says, so to link with Parsalafu, the ancestors who are now elemental beings, or Akh-Akhu, etheric beings, you need the key of C. To align your, this is from page 4, by the way, that was verse 9. Verse 10, to align your physical khatat body with them, you need the key of A. 11, to create harmony between you, you need the key of F. So the foundation is A. Newborn babies, when they enter into this tapal world, the first sound they make is the frequency or note A. And then it explains about the 3 together. So this is the root key of your body. Then 15, the 3 together is FAC for both males on the left side of middle C and females on the right side of middle C, which is located at the center of the keyboard. So it just carries on talking about the bass clef to the left and the treble clef to the right. But you know what's interesting as well, the 135, is that symbolically how the master teacher got 135 years, and that ties into 135, or the frequencies of FAC, and then you add them up, you get the number 9. Yeah, but in this part, it doesn't say about the tones for other races specifically. Okay, so that's, let me have a look at the other one. This is number 2. This is called The Secret of Tones and the Mafkhuzat, Elixir of Life. Again, I do, yes, I recall reading this, and again, I don't see any specific note for other races, although he does mention that every race has their own tones. So I guess it would probably be outside of the FAC, but which ones exactly, that's something that I'm going to research and find out. Okay, yeah, there's nothing in here. Nope. Okay, and the last reference I gave was the actual fact number 18, called tone, sound, DNA, molecules, vibrational frequencies. That's that one. Let's have a look in here. I mean, obviously we can go into more details in terms of our tones, F, A, and C, and each note. And when I said about a 1-3-5, because when you form a major triad, triad is 3 obviously. When you form that, you take the 1, 3, and the 5, which gives you 135. But the 1 plus the 3 plus the 5 gives you a 9. But each one of those tones itself has 3 parts. So you have, let's say if you took a F, you'll have a F flat, a F, and a F, we could say major, and then we say a F sharp. So even out of the 3 notes, you still get 9. And then, you know, it goes into a lot more detail. But, you know, I don't see specific tones for other races. And if any other student teachers or anyone has come across that information, put it in the comments. And we have a live caller, but I'm going to definitely research that and come back to you on that question. Live caller, what's your name, where you calling from, and what's your question for today, please?
Rahul Bat again, is Devontae calling from Bristol.
Hey, Rahul Bat. How you doing?
Rahul Bat, man. Sorry I couldn't make the meeting the other day, but I'll definitely see you guys soon. So my question today is about the chanting and energy exchanges, because I guess I need to give you a little bit of a backstory so I can ask the question. So I've been chanting. I've got the correct terms now, so I feel the energy straight away, very intense, etc. However, I have been extremely exhausted, like crazy exhausted, to the point where I'm sleeping full 9 hours of sleep. I have to nap for a couple hours in the day. I'm just consistently exhausted. Yeah. So I took a short break from chanting, like reduced it to like once a day, felt my energy levels increased slightly, and then I haven't chanted the past few days and my energies are back to normal. So I just want to understand what is going on there. Is that normal? Am I meant to keep pushing and it will level out? Or I just want some information or clarity on that experience.
Yeah, like with anything, you've got to, it's like when you first exert yourself or start, you're going to put a lot more effort, and then after a while, you've got to find that optimum balance. What do I mean by that? Let me give you an example. It's like, let's say you want to start training, and at first you're like, I want to do 100 press-ups. But when you start, you may not be able to do 100. And that first time it may be more tasking or difficult. And then you push yourself. And if you remain consistent, you might get to 50 and be like, you know what, that's it. I can't go to the 100. But if you continue to do it and remain consistent, you start to find that after a while, what was challenging to you becomes easy. So
Yes.
so you'll be able to like go past the 50 easily, and then maybe you reach 100. And now if you do 100 all the time consistently, it doesn't have any more effect because now that's easy for you. It's the same when people push weights, you know, they have to increase, but there is a actual kind of equilibrium, or there's a point you should get to where you shouldn't have to now exceed that. Yeah. So it's the point where it's being content. It's like some people just, yeah, it's like exercise is a good example, you know, like people start to become addicted to the personal trainer. What's that word when you
To the pump.
yeah, there's a word for it. There's a chemical release that that's it. Say again. Dopamine. That's the word I'm trying to remember. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's like when I say you have to get to a point where it's the normalized amount you should do. What people do is they keep pushing and keep pushing and keep pushing.
Okay.
Then over time it becomes an addiction, because
Yes.
it's like you've now got to a point where it's not enough anymore. And so it becomes like a drug. It becomes like you become addicted to it. It's the same thing with sex, with alcohol, with drugs, with anything like that. So to go back to your question about the chanting, is that you get something called a DNA explosion, right? Another good example to relate to your question is when people first come into Wu-Sabat, and we keep saying to people, you need to study, you need to study, you need to read. And if they're really, like, you read your first book and then it leads you to the next one and the next one, and what's happening is as you're trying to read, you fall asleep. Like, this is kind of related to what you were saying. You fall asleep because what happens is you're having so much DNA explosion that it's taking a lot of energy from you. That's why you have to stop and take a break. You know, don't just try and read the whole book because the information is so profound. You want to read the whole book in one day. Now, sometimes you're not able to digest and comprehend what you're reading because you're just brute forcing it. So you need to, take a break. So that's what you did with the chanting. You was like, you're tapping in, and you're higher, you're reaching and picking up higher vibrations, but at the same time, it's taking a lot out of you because it's energy, as you said, energy exchange. So so now.
So then with that, I'm really glad you put it that way because I was getting a bit scared. but that makes much more sense. It's like when you go to the gym and even if you do bang out 100 push-ups, the next day your arms are mash up. So
exactly.
You might have usually been doing gym 3 times a week, but then now because you've done the 100 in one day, you can't even go gym for the next week.
Exactly. That's a good way of looking at it.
That makes a lot of sense.
Because remember, your muscles needs time to kind of rest as well. If you keep pushing it, then you might even tear a muscle, or you know what I mean. You get Go ahead.
I understand the analogy. So then, in reality, I don't know how much you can say on the public, but in reality, what is actually happening there? Is the energy going into me and then my vessel is basically getting too full, or is it I'm giving energy away as well and then now I'm drained? Like what actually is happening?
Yeah, that's exactly what you're doing, because you have to remember when you're chanting, you're aligning yourself and connecting with these beings, elemental beings, the etheric beings that are on a higher level. So it's like you are giving and taking, like they're you and you are them at the same time. So that exchange is happening, and this happens even in general life when you're around some people that are very they literally are energy vampires. and they just
Yes.
they create a lot of chaos and have you getting involved with things, and you're finding yourself just talking and explaining and using up a lot of energy, and they're just feeding off of that energy, and sometimes you don't even recognize it. You're trying to deal with things on higher vibration, and they just kind of argumentative, or just want to create chaos, and you don't realize at the time like you might be trying to help or think you're solving a problem. Meanwhile, they're just draining you. Like, you might be talking to someone trying to share Wu-Sabat right knowledge, and at first they may come across like they're actually listening to you or attentive, but they just keep asking questions and questions and questions, but they're not really taking in what you're saying, but they're getting you to exert yourself to the point where you're just giving them and feeding that energy to them. So they will leave, and then you will feel drained. You feel like, and at the end of all that, they will just say something like, if they're a Christian, they'll just say, you need Jesus, or, you know what I mean? And walk away. And you think, I've spent all this time giving you all these facts about, do you know what I mean? Something, and then you just turn around. But that's because, and people like that, they need to constantly be around people that are vibrating on a higher frequency, so they can be fed. And when you start cutting off from them, then they have to look for another person or another host to go and drain. And this is why sometimes
it's very interesting that the question leaned to this, because I've seen one of your videos previously, and it was talking about how like it's all about a shook and like empathy, and that's about having a soul, etc. So growing up, I've always been a very strong empath. So it could literally take, like, I would feel other people's emotions like it happens to me.
Yep.
And it took me many years for me to learn how to
regulate
my body from resonating and feeling that, because I had problems with that, like just in life. If you're having other people's emotions, it's gonna have an effect on you. So
I'm the same.
Is that a sign to say? Sorry, just to
go on,
into a question now. Is that empathy thing, and how can I bring to other people's energy? Is that a sign to show how, like, my DNA is of the Nagaru seed, or can that happen to anybody if they just have good people skills?
No, it is related, because that's what, when we talk about a shook, sometimes people mistake that to mean that a shook is not to be abused. Do you understand? Like, you've got to learn. You can show somebody and give a shook from a distance, because for some people, no matter how much a shook you show, no matter how empathetic you are, no matter how much you give, it's never enough, because they constantly want to drain you and feed off of you. So it's about learning how to balance. When you're that type of a person, like you say, you take on everyone's, like, you can feel their pain, their energy, and sometimes it's overwhelming. It can be too much, and you have to learn. The word I was using is regulate. Learn how to balance.
Yes.
Learn how to, we have something called a psychic self-defense. This is why it's important to study the doctrine, because when you kind of learn after a while, like the people that do that, one of the things you can do is give one-word responses or answers, because based on your experience with them, that they just want to drain you and talk about stuff and have you just... So if you know that if you open up too much and give too much, it's going to lead to another question, another question, and another question. So when you're quiet, or you're able to just be polite, show a shook, but not get drawn in, or get like... It's like another thing, like if you are passing on the street and someone's begging you, like, for whatever, change or whatever, like, you can be someone who feels so guilty for not giving, that you constantly give. And I'm not saying not to give people, but there are also people that are
give to their detriment.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, that's I used to be like that years ago, where I've just given, like even to the point where at my own detriment, and I had to learn, like you, how to pull back and regulate. And sometimes, you know, you still do it because it's your nature, it's that loving nature. And sometimes, you know, the more you give, the more people want. It's never enough. The more they take, obviously, then you have to balance it out by being around other people who also they give. So it's reciprocated. So when we're around each other and we're chanting and doing things together, that's one way of it being regulated, because then those who are low will feed off of others who are maybe too high to balance everyone out, and then, you know, there's more harmony. That's why we chant.
Yeah.
We chant in unison, but we also chant in harmony. Yeah. So.
Okay. Now I'm really glad. I'm really thankful for the answer, man. That's really helped a lot. Just to close off before I go, because I know I ask bare questions. I could be here the whole 2 hours.
Yeah. That's Wu-Sabat.
Yeah, sorry. Just to close it off. So, with the chanting, I noticed that when I first started out, that obviously it would happen, that the energy resonance would happen later on throughout it. Then when I got good at it, I realized that I wouldn't even feel the transition because I'm already vibrating like that from the previous chant. So that means I need to kind of listen to my body and feel when that resonance goes. That's when it's time to go back in.
Yeah.
Do it at the next segment.
That's why we regulate it by doing 9-3-9. And if you happen to be awake, meaning 9 a.m., 3 p.m. and 9 p.m. And then if you're awake at 3 a.m., you can do it again. But, you know, they're spaced out so that, you know, because the thing with sound, this is another reason why the master teacher has asked, or we're supposed to learn a musical instrument, no matter what it is, because sound doesn't actually stop when you stop saying something. It resonates and it decays, but it takes a long time for it to go away. So the very first word you have ever spoken is still going on till today, because it travels throughout, let's say, the universe or the cosmos. So that it's almost like, because it's actually tangible, it's still traveling. Because
that's the same with light, because people are using their telescopes to see how many billion years in the past.
Exactly.
And that's because the light's still traveling.
That's right. That's remember, light, sound, and color, they are interchangeable because they're just different. They're frequencies. And you're right, because it's also energy, right? And energy cannot be energy cannot be destroyed. So that's why you can have an environment where, like, let's say you're chanting in that environment, like you say, it will linger on until maybe the next day, and your abode or your environment, the colors in that environment, the things that are in there, whether it's crystals or plants or the type of lighting, it keeps that space at a particular vibration. Yeah. And then, you know, if you then start doing certain things within that space, it's going to change that vibration. So you go in there and you feel it straight away. But yeah, I think we've got so many questions to get through.
No, that's cool, man. I'm glad that I asked that, because even what you just said there has even made more clarity. So thank you very much for your time. Yeah, man. I'll see you guys soon. I
shook Zamal. What I do. Okay, let's see what we have. Go back to the. Okay. Do you have? Okay, let's go for the voice note.
Can your musical instrument be your voice?
Yes, actually, as I was answering the question, that's why I said it doesn't matter what the instrument is. Yes, your voice is an instrument. In fact, everything around you is music. Sometimes you have to listen to that music. What I mean by that is, nature, the sounds of nature are music. The sounds of people walking, the sounds of, you know, you can hear like traffic, the sounds, everything is music in one shape or another. And your voice, yes, is an instrument, and you can use that instrument to do many things. So even when you speak, that tone that you have resonates with people, you know. So yes, your voice is an instrument. This is why you have so many great singers, you know, like your Whitney Houstons and people that they literally can play their voice like an instrument. And yeah, so to simple answer is yes, your voice is also an instrument. We have another live caller, Rahubat. Greetings, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from, and what's your question, please?
Robert Musa. I'm from South Africa. My name is Isolam Daka.
Rahubat.
So I've been doing chants lately, and you know the chants that go like Anuki, Jawef, Empa, Paut.
Yeah.
You know those chants, right?
Tour.
Yeah. And every time I do those chants, it's like I start to, I don't know what to call it. It's like levitating, but at the same time, like I'm still in my body, right? And yeah, and I've been practicing astral projection a lot, and I've reading the scrolls. So yeah, it just does a lot to you, you know, when you practice those chants. And yeah, I'm a firm believer of like, actually not a believer, because you know Wu-Sabat doesn't believe, you know, we know.
Yeah. No, I know what you're saying exactly. Yes.
Yeah, and yeah, the thing is, I don't know if I have a question exactly. It's amazing. Like I just want to comment on, you know, the work of Dr. York. You know, free Dr. York, man. Yes,
100%.
It's amazing.
You
and
know,
I've been dreaming like, so what?
No, go ahead. Let me not interrupt.
Yeah, last night I had a dream about him, and in that dream, I felt like more powerful when his presence was there. Like I felt threatened by somebody in the dream, right? And when I called Baba Yanun's name, it was as if it was there, you know.
Yeah, you know. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So my question is, how do I try to balance my, you know, my physical self? Because ever since I was a kid, I've always had, you know, astral projection experiences, like, you know, like not deliberately, like they would just happen, but spontaneously, you know.
Tour. So.
And I have a trouble keeping up with the physical. I don't know, with the physical. I'm too much up in, you know.
Yeah, that ties back to the previous question about balance, right? I'm really glad that you and Devontae calling in were, see, because when we say Wu-Sabat is real, unless you experience it for yourself or do certain things and confirm it for yourself, you know. So it's good when people hear other people saying it works, and other people like, why doesn't it work for me? Because you can't, it's not a drive-through, like, you know. People are so used to instant like takeaways, you know, conveyor belt. It's like when you're real with it, when you're practicing it properly, when your intentions are correct, when you're eating right, when you're focusing, you get more from it. And sometimes things are done for you, for confirmation for you. And so obviously your experience is your experience, and your dreams are your dreams. And one thing we know, the master teacher, Parnabab Yanun, Dr. Malachi Z.K. York, has told us that no one can impersonate him in your dreams. And he is that being, that power we refer to as the center, or al-Qut, which basically means he radiates outwards. He's a very powerful being. When we say in the 33 degree over 720 degrees, that's not an easy title, because that means you've mastered the 360 degrees of the seen world as well as 360 degrees of the unseen world. That's the 360, giving you the 720. The 33 is just to show people that in this lower realm, the highest, what they consider knowledgeable people by way of like Freemasons or whatever, they go to what they call 33 degrees. So that just shows you that to be a 720 degrees compared to a 33 degree, it's really like the difference is so staggering. And you're talking about a spiritual master. And so, yes, his presence as Yanun, when you start to look at who he is in terms of that being the 19th elder who sits in the 24th seat as we renew, or he renews this next 24,000 years. You know, Wu-Sabat is real. It's not a joke. And you know, people can experience whatever they put their mind to and focus and do in terms of like the practices of meditation, levitation. Like these are things that he's going to take you and teach you, Dan. And some of this stuff we're being taught in the higher orders. Why we always say to people, come closer, you know, get involved with the, you know what I mean, the things that we do internally and the orders and so on. So yeah, unless people do, they can only speak from belief as opposed to from their own actual facts or experience. And most people who have experienced the same thing that you have will know exactly what you're talking about. In terms of regulating and balancing it out, this is where, you know, you have to learn how to balance things out, because it's so easy to swing in different directions. So some people become too spiritual to the point where they neglect their physical. So as you were saying, that they spend so much time on the spiritual and not realizing you have to also balance it out with the physical, you know. So that's probably what you have to do.
I'm a Pisces, so I'm already too much in my head already. Like, yes. And what you said there, man, it goes hard because when I first read the scrolls of Dr. Malachi, specifically the Holy Tablets, and when I saw the characters that he drew from the book, they looked very familiar to me, like as if I've known them way before my time or something.
Right, exactly. Most of us have been here many times and have lived many lives and had many different experiences and different existences. And that's why when you start to, he said on average most people have reincarnated like 9,000 times. So life, this whole concept with religion of making you think that you have one life and then that's the end, and that's why people get afraid, because they think, you know, they only have one shot and they're gonna go to heaven or go to hell, and then they're afraid because of that whole fear factor. And when you start
I think that's the reason why some people, you know, they do foolish things. They end up doing foolish things because they like, you know, YOLO.
Yeah, exactly. Not realizing they have to come back and may come back and have a worse experience than the one they had before. So it's a, you know, it's a lot of there are levels basically to it. You have to learn, and the more you give Wu-Sabat, the more you get from it. The more you give to humanity in terms of you're getting all this knowledge and being transformed to be a supreme being, so that you can help others. And we're doing that. We're changing a lot of lives around the world, and it's so beautiful, and it's all by way of the master teacher, Parnabab Yanun. Anything else?
Because, after I read all, I also read, do you know Sun Ra?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, do you think he died, or I think he was abducted and just left planet Earth?
That's, I think. You know, Wu-Sabat. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think, because he was like ahead of his time.
Yeah, I mean, many beings. That's what I'm saying. Like, see, people there's this question about God that we hear so many times, and because people don't understand. Like when we say God or talk about God, we explain that. Give me one sec. We explain that yes, God can be to you a being that you refer to as the Most High, and He sits on a throne. But in Wu-Sabat, we will tell you that's Anu. Anu is the person you're calling God, the Father, and He sits on a throne in the craft called Nibiru. So that's your concept of a God, and He's a He, a man, and all that. Okay, that's one God. But then you also have your ancestors who have elevated and have also gone to higher realms that exist. You can refer to those as gods, right? Then you have yourself, you have your higher self, who is you, your counterpart, yeah, your oversoul, that's also, if you want to say above, because of the vibration, that being is on a higher vibration. It connects with you. You can speak to yourself and get guidance from yourself, as well as your ancestors who are also there, and you have agreeable and disagreeable. And then you have other beings, extraterrestrial beings, who, you know, we can say Enki, Enlil, the Elohim, all these names that are also beings that are referred to as God. So when people say I pray to God or I call on God, like you have to say which one, because then you can narrow it down and define it. What is it composed of? Or who are you talking about? When they make it into a who, then it becomes a person or a being that may have walked this planet just like you are. And then we also say, you look at yourself, you're also God. So it depends on which one or who you're talking about, but you're God, because it tells you that. If you want to even use the biblical references, it tells you in Psalms 82:6, John 10:34, you can be made a God like Moses. Moses was made a God in Exodus 7:1 to the Pharaoh. So it all depends on what. Yeah, you might even be coming from the German word gut. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of people get a concept and they're locked in. What were you saying, Mizzle?
So you know, Alien L, is he the god of the Nubians, or
no? That's Anu. That's what I said. That Anu is the being that's being translated as Elion El, and that translates as the Most High, El Elyon. And that's because he's sitting on high in the craft called Nibiru. You see? So that's like a seat.
So he's still ruling right now as the king of the
Anunnaki, like just like other extraterrestrials or other beings, they're not from here. Some of them are in crafts above. Some of them are still in different constellations. Like we mentioned, Arcturus, Pleiades, you know, Orion, Sirius. There are many mansions, as it says. In, you know, when they say Jesus is in my Father's house, there are many mansions. The chambers of the south. They're talking about. It's actually so crazy that people think that this planet, amongst the gazillions of like planets and stars or star systems, and another thing, the trap is people, places and things, and that people start off with everything on this planet. But we know that you have different life forms that originated in their different solar system or star system, and the way they evolved is going to be different to the way.
So it would be like so selfish to think you're the only organisms living on this planet, like on this entire universe.
Exactly.
And it's so vast.
Yeah, I'm going to also, like I was saying, like to say Freemasons, the word God comes from the word Goma Ozan Dabar, which literally mean wisdom, strength, and beauty. All right. So from this, the degree of Christism, it explains. It says that if you look at the delta, which is a triangle, is the true symbol of the deity Khnum. It is equivalent to the Arabic Da and the Aramic Hebrew Delith. The word God is a combination of three Greek gods: Goma, wisdom; Oz, strength; and Dabar, beauty, which is God, right? Which is also a trinity. And then you know, when
those aren't those like the qualities of a human though?
that's exactly what we're saying. That gods, the gods that people talk about, the gods of the Bible, gods of the Quran, like your concept of a god is a being that takes on physical form. Because how else would he sit on the throne? How else, you know what I'm saying, would he be able to talk, walk? But what it is they then give you a concept that doesn't make sense. Like he's all knowing, he's all wise, he's all seeing, he's almighty, he's all powerful. Those are just concepts, because if you can see everything and be at all places at all times, you won't need to ask questions. You won't be able to make mistakes or not know something's going to happen before it happens. And these stories that have been compiled into these 6 ether books to trap people's minds are the problem, because they're based on opinions. They're based on people's opinions, and I think and I believe, until you come across somebody who knows. And then we're like, do you know, you can believe what you like, but the facts, the actual facts, is this or are that. And we go into it. Like, let me give you a few basic examples, right? Going back to people fearing going to hell. You know why you feel things in this physical world, right? It's because you've got a physical body that has a system referred to as the nervous system. It's through the nervous system that you feel things, yeah? And predominantly we have the one sense, which is touch. Now, when you're supposedly unalived, you no longer have a physical body, right? So how can you burn? What are you burning when, if your spirit, that can't be burnt and it can't feel anything? So how are you going to feel the pain of being tortured and burnt in hell forever if you have no physical body, no nervous system to feel? This is just how basic stuff is. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's like another one, Noah. The story of Noah in the Bible is the most ridiculous story you can probably think of, where God had to wait for him to be like 500 years old to build an ark. He didn't give him any tools, right? But he supposedly, one man in the desert, building this ark that takes him, I think it's like 100 years or something to complete. And then supposedly he's able to get 2 of every animal from the whole planet, where some species only are in certain climates or certain parts of the world, which is impossible. And then
never made sense to me.
the funniest thing is, these animals, let's say you took lions, cheetahs, elephants, whatever, snakes, they're all so well behaved. Like, they just all go in a line, you know, 2 by 2 into, like, you're talking about lions and tigers and cheetahs and beings that they will actually rip up and eat other animals. So they're all so well behaved that they go in a file into this ark, and they're all well behaved. No one runs around, no one is unaliving each other, there's no chaos. Everyone's just like so domesticated, so well behaved. For how long? However long they were supposed to be in the ark. But then they come out and it's like, oh, now we're going to start again. It sounds so nursery, kindergarten like. You know what I'm saying? Like, it makes no sense. But belief makes people believe that this actually happened or that it took place.
Yeah, well, it is a spell.
It's a big spell. The spell of Kingu, the spell of Leviathan, the spell that we are breaking, because we want you to have control back of your own mind. Because mind control is what.
Wait, isn't Kingo the guy who blew up the moon?
Yeah, there are different people called Kingu, but yeah, Kingu definitely is one of the ones that blew up. We say the moon, but we're talking about lunar. Yeah, and that's where the word lunatic comes from, because he was a lunatic, like some of the people we have here who are willing to, also push the button on atomic weapons could destroy the whole of the planet. So yeah, that's lunar. But yeah, I've got so many questions to take. So I know we could speak. No problem. Na old shakal zuma.
Well, you second. If you ever like the riskings take you know what I'm saying, you should come back for us.
That's funny. We're all working to make that journey. But yeah, no one knows until that time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 2033 is the deadline, right?
Bro, it's a deadline for some people. But yeah, we just got to get the master out. And that's where our energy and our focus is right now, because he's got to come home. And once he's home, man, that will be a beautiful day. You know, so what I'm saying is don't focus on 2030 right now. Focus on now, and let's do what we need to do now. All right.
Yes, sir.
Where are you based again, Jamal?
Sir, what?
Where are you based?
Oh, South Africa.
Oh, so okay.
Cape Town.
Tour. Yeah.
Tour.
All right. What do Jamal? And takak tiarfu. Okay, right. Let me see what we got. Wow, we got quite a lot of questions. So let's see if we can get through some of this. I'm sure you probably have dealt with some of these already. Good afternoon from Florida. I truly appreciate your teaching and learning from you guys. Okay, that's D Brown. Thank you. Each one teach one. And you can read one book and start spreading and sharing what you have to help others. Why spacesuits look like deep sea suit? That's such a great question. And what that also reminds me of, you see, when people see the grays and people think that's their skin, that's actually their suit. Because again, when you're traveling intergalactically or going through different, atmospheres, etc., you need to protect yourself. So the same way humans going into space, going into different atmospheres, and also, that it gets colder as you get in outside of the earth. So it's also a form of protection. It's like, the elements in terms of, that's why, again, that reminds me, because religion is so funny. When they say Jesus just went up, he just went up into space and went to heaven just like that. No suit, he didn't have no helmet. Like, when you use Wu-Sabat to break the facts down, that makes no sense, because the minute you get above the planet, just 6 miles above the planet, you can't breathe. your body, you have something called G-force, etc., that, you know what I mean? You will literally, what we call internal combustion. You will literally not be able to, your lungs will give way, you won't be able to breathe. So, space suits and helmets and things like that, it's because you're going into different atmospheres. You ever see movies where they land on a planet or somewhere else, and the first thing you have to do generally is, if you have a probe, you send it out. Like, this is why robots and drones are being built, because they're mechanical. They may be able to withstand and take a dangerous atmosphere for your human form, because you're carbon-based entity. So if you're in a place where there is no oxygen, then you're not going to be able to breathe. So they usually send probes, and then when they think, okay, the atmosphere is conducive for our type of life form, then they may take off their helmets. And as you say, it's the same when you go, because there are different dimensions. Like when you go into the sea, when you dive, you know, a lot of the divers, they have to wear suits as well because you can't breathe underwater for so long. So a fish, that's its natural dimension or environment. It can survive there. You can go there, but you will only be able to stay there for so long. A fish can come out into our environment, and again, it can only stay for so long and then it has to go back into the water. So it's the same with us. But over time, because we evolved from the water, there was a time we could breathe in water. That's what your gills and your your appendix and these things were, because you used to breathe underwater, and we evolved and came onto land, and then this planet's really, it's a biosphere. It's been terraformed to be the way it is. We're like fishes in the where do fishes live again? Pond. A pond. Because the air you're breathing is actually just water, and we call it oxygen. It's just a finer form of water, and we are very reliant on water. One of the resources on this planet, why a lot of extraterrestrial like it, is because it has different dimensions and different atmospheres, and a lot of water. It should be called the planet water, not the planet Earth, because the Earth part of it is like 10% compared to the rest of it, which is water. So we breathe water, we drink water, we have to have a bath in water, showers in water, go to the beach. We're obsessed with being around water because we are actually tied into that reptilian part of our nature. So yeah, that's a great question about the spacesuits looking like deep sea suits, because different atmosphere. What happens immediately after a person dies? That's from Blue Moon Goddess. Oh, the last question was Kareem's question, by the way, Maddie Springer. What happens, it depends on when you say immediately, because there's a time where you literally feel the life force leaving. Yeah. So as the life force is leaving, your body starts to get cold because the breathing that I mentioned previously stops. The burning stops. The burning is that taking in the oxygen, giving off the carbon dioxide. That means there's a burning process taking place by way of your solar plexus, which is, not everybody. Some people have a lunar plexus and some have a solar plexus. Both of them keep you alive because the breath is part of life. So when you're saying breathing, this is in the scriptures, they refer to different parts of you, like the breath, like the nefesh or the nafs, all right? And then you have other parts of you, which we say the ruach, yeah, which is, again, dealing with a different form of breath. Then you have the soul, which is the neshama, which is actually a divine essence that not everyone has, and it's passed from generation to generation. So when you read Partarak, soul, spirit, or you read it goes, the master teacher Panda Babyanun goes into the different parts of you, like I can't find it right now, but yeah, we have that Partarak, soul, spirit. But yeah, it all depends on the different parts of you. I don't want to digress, but yeah, that's why you need to be able to breathe to survive in the right atmosphere. No, it's not. Well, let me just go back to the question I was on. Great questions, everyone, by the way. Without your questions, we wouldn't have these sessions. And the more you learn, the more you can share what you learn and teach others. Yeah, so the next question is, what happens immediately after you die? So I'm saying, when you say immediately, that's the first thing, the rigor mortis sets in. You start to get cold, you start to get stiff. And then that essence of you, the real you, has a period of time that it still lingers and travels. It could be between 60 and 90 days to visit loved ones, etc., as you get an orientation in your journey. after you've depleted those 60 to 90 days, then you start to get pulled upwards and you travel if you have built up enough energy or power to propel you and take you to the higher realms. And you have to go through different what phases, yeah. And if you haven't made it, you will see white light. You go towards a white light. This is why a lot of people talk about seeing the white light. That white light is a opening or a wormhole or a portal, if you want to use that to kind of make it clear, that you go through and you just come right back if you haven't made it to go to the higher realms. All right. And then there's many things that take place or happen when you're saying immediately. It could be that moment, or it could be that 60 to 90 days that I've just described. You can read more about this in a Master Secrets by the Master Teacher called The Spiritual You After the Physical You Dies. All right. Also the Pataraks that I mentioned, soul, spirit. Yeah, the number of books that go into that. But the Spiritual You After the Physical You Dies, the 24 Elders, that's another Master Secret. Yeah, they will help you to learn more. But we always encourage people to come around, go around your community, the stores, and learn more. Every Sunday we have the Reyetat Zamut, which we go more into spiritual practices and Q&A, and we talk about stuff that's only for the family and private stuff. Okay, Michelangelo, does Wu-Sabat community practice oh yeah, we covered already the yoga question. 2 question is Mr. OSM. In the book of Genesis, did Eve have sex with the serpent? And also the word serpent is the same as repent in Christianity. It wasn't a serpent, it was a person. We actually have, let me see if I've got it here with me. But yes, he showed her the art of sex, which became, or I'm trying to find it. Let me see if we've got it. We have a book called Who Was the Serpent in Genesis chapter 3. Yeah, that will go into more detail. Have I got it? Yeah, get that scroll. It's I think it's an actual fact. Who was the serpent in Genesis chapter 3? I'm just looking through my scrolls to see if I've got it with me so we can share it. Who was the serpent in Genesis chapter 3? We actually do. Yeah, I can't see it straight away at the moment. But, oh, here you go. There you go. Right. See, you're asking some great questions. Who was the serpent in Genesis chapter 3 is actual fact series number 33. Have you got it? Zama? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, you have to read this because it explains the entire thing in so much detail, because the word serpent is not even used in that quote. It's the word that is there is actually whisperer, a person that was whispering. So I'm going to read a bit. Who was the serpent of Genesis chapter 3? 1. Anea mumrar musbatu munwapu muesar. My beloved Sabian Nuwapian family. Most think when they read in the Bible Genesis chapter 3 was the time of when God dwelled on Mathar, earth. 2. This period of time mentioned in the papyrus of Turin was called Zapatapatwi, Zeptepi, with Mukmanu, humans, which reads Genesis 3 verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle. 3. When you look up the word for serpent, you see the word Nakash. The noun form under Hebrew Strong's number 5175 from the root word Hebrew Strong's number 5172. Nakash, meaning divine, whisper, hiss, enchanter. To learn by experience. 4. You also find this word in the Arabic Quran, 114 verse 4, as al-khanas, meaning the withdrawing one who is a whisperer. 5. So they knew in both the Torah and the Quran of this being. Okay, and it gives a lot of quotes about the being, and it says even in the book of Revelation, this is verse 6, even in the book of Revelation you see the serpent in Revelation 12:9, and note what it says, Revelation 12:9, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, or Satan. 7. There you see both dragon and serpent as the same being, and now to see who this dragon serpent is, you must read Ezekiel 29 verse 2 to 3, which reads, 2. Son of Hebrew, Strong's 120, Adam or Adamite, set the face against Pharaoh, Hebrew Strong's number 4428, Malak, meaning royal one, ruler, king of Egypt, and prophecy, Hebrew Strong number 5012. Naba, meaning predict, against him and against all Egypt. As you read, the Muadamu Adamites found on the Hebrew Strong's number 119 to 131, meaning ruddy, pink, blush, spotted race, whites, were predicted to be against the Muqmatu Egyptians, to lie on them who see they call ruler royal. And it, I'm going to skip because it goes on and it breaks down the whole thing about hate and but to answer your question, yes, he showed her and explained to her certain things that basically when you start to read it carefully, you can see that yeah, I'm trying to, you got to get the book, because remember this person, it says the person was cunning, crafty and wise. Now he was nude, naked. So if you look back to Genesis 3:1, it states, and this the Hutu is said to Hebrew Strong number 802, Isha, meaning feminine, one female and woman. He did not speak to the male, masculine. He spoke with the female, Eve, and said, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord God had made. And he said unto the woman, ye have Elohim said, you shall not eat of the tree in the enclosed garden. It goes through the entire story. But yeah, so obviously once you break it down, the master goes into great details, talks about the semen, everything, so yeah, you're on the right path, but I'm not going to give you all the secrets. Get the scroll and you go into much more detail in terms of what actually took place. But it was a person, it wasn't a serpent. The person named Zahutwi, yeah, known by other titles too. Okay, we have a voice note. Let's get that voice note and then we'll come back to the questions in the chat.
Rahubat. Nani.
Is it cut off? Okay. All right. Yeah, we got another one.
They're frozen it.
Okay, let's get it. Okay. Or should I take another one? All right.
Cool.
All right, let's get the voice note.
Live call.
Oh, live call. Rahubat, greetings, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from? And what's your question, please?
Rahubat, Dre calling from the States.
Hey, Rahubat, how you doing, Zamal?
Jamal, everything is good. I was calling. I had I had a question, just an update about women in pregnancy. I was calling to get some overstanding clarification of, is it true that Enlil is responsible for the female woman to have pain during pregnancy? Like he put that curse on women to have pain during pregnancy?
No. I mean, that religious or biblical story comes by way of, as it said, when they ate of the fruit and that they were not supposed to. Well, I was just going through in Genesis chapter 3, and then they were subsequently banished, and then the punishment was that the woman will have pains and in birth. I'm trying to, as you're asking the question, if it was specifically Enlil. I'm not sure, to be honest. I'll have to double check that. But when you look at that whole story, actually, you know what? It sounds right, but I don't want to guess. So what I'm going to do is double check and come back next week with that. But the whole thing about curses and all of that, a lot of that is like, number one, not all women have pains and go through that process in childbirth, and a lot of it comes by way of bad diet, or the way they do it in the Western world. The posture is wrong, lack and deficiency in many minerals. So some women don't have any pain at all, and instead of going against gravity on your back to do what they tell you to do and push, and it's just wrong information and wrong practices, wrong diets, wrong having a lot of deficiencies in certain aspects, because some women are able to have, you should more than likely squat. If you look back in ancient times in our culture, we don't really go and have births in the same way that you do in the West. So as far as the curse and all of that, it's a lack of knowledge more than anything. So, but I'm definitely gonna. Did you have a reference, or in terms of where you got that story about it being Enlil from?
We had a class yesterday, and then during that class, they were giving us like updates on everything that was currently going on, and then they were saying with the new sun cycle being here, a lot of the women, the non-ether women, melanated women, when they give birth during pregnancy, the pain aspect will go away. They won't be having any pain anymore, and that was one of the things that they were saying. Also, they were saying that we're supposed to have like a blackout, extended long period of time. Like the grid is going to go out, and that's just the Mother Earth waking up and getting back in natural rhythm. And us, we're supposed to switch over to that same rhythm.
Right. I mean, yeah, sometimes things come out in updates. That's why I was like, let me just double check on that, because I haven't seen that in any scrolls. But yeah, there are many updates, and some of the updates, like we're saying now, are not really shared publicly. That's why we have to gather. But in terms of, yeah, Mother Nature is going through a metamorphosis at the moment. So it is changing, and yeah, in terms of grids and like the biorhythms and stuff that we're meant to be in tune with. This is why we are supposed to be in tune with nature, which is Mother Nature. But yeah, as far as that part that you're saying, if it's an update, I have to look into that. But I know there's been so many updates recently, even on the worldwide conference call, there were lots of updates, lots of changes and lots of things taking place. So it's very important to now be as close as possible with your local bookstores and going in, because there are things that are being shared now as we draw closer to the Master coming home, as well as 2030 and all the agenda and things that are going on. We've made videos about this already, that you're going to see a lot happening between now in 2030, and you need to know where to be and what to be doing, and not wasting time on, you know, segregation, divisions, and all that. It's about, like the master called it, love and unity, which has become a cliche a lot of the times when people say it, because without action in it, I mean, you're already connected to your local bookstore and you're going there for classes and getting involved, so you're in the right space. But go ahead.
Last thing I was gonna say, is it also true that we're supposed to be, what is the word? Acquiring foreign currency of certain places. So once there's going to be an economic crash, and certain currency is actually going to engwealth us if we have everything set up right and in order.
Tua, we're working together. We are guided to know what to do and where to be, because, you know, the whole subject. We've got courses as well on the whole kind of like money and crypto stuff, because yes, the debt society that we're living in is predominantly fiat currency, and then you got the crypto stuff as well. But you need to know that if things are not backed up with assets, then they don't have any value, to be honest. So yes, things are going to the economy. You can see where the economy is going, especially in the United States of America. You know that things are getting dire, and it's really not gonna be recovering. So yeah, it's important to know there are many parts of Tamaray or Afafre, Afafre, where, you know, there's lots of resources, lots of, you know what I mean, the things that have value.
Right.
So that's really where we should be looking to, because the wealth is changing directions in terms of the planet is actually itself, you know, it's on a 23-degree axis. It's now shifting and going back to the 45-degree axis, and a lot of wealth distribution is going to change. So
right.
As you said, yeah, the sun is coming with healing in its wings. So there's a lot happening.
And final thing, Zamal. I noticed too, a lot of us, not all of us, but a good bit of us, we're viewing Trump necessarily as like the overall enemy, but he's actually helping clear and move out a lot of these things that's in the way that need to be moved out, so we could step into our rightful matriarchy and have us back on top in a position where we need to be, also with the black women on top also.
Have you ever heard the quote, you plan a plan, the Most High plans of plans, and who is the greatest of planners? So some people are just being orchestrated like chess pieces to do what needs to be done. So you may think that it's them doing it, but they're obviously higher beings and high entities that are actually pulling the strings. It's like people go, oh, I've just got a great idea. But where did that idea come from? Or, you know,
right.
Inspiration, or, you know, I'm going to do this. So yes, when I said the Most High, I'm really talking about our Most High, Pana Babyanun. And, you know what I'm saying, like, things are being orchestrated and we have to be in place. So you're definitely right. And yes, it is the woman as in the sacred feminine's time. And yeah, things are being mobilized, and everyone's got to be in the right place at the right time, and to do what we need to do. You follow? So you're right. You're right. That's happening. But the devil cannot be transformed. I mean, what's the word? Yeah, reformed. That's the word I was looking for. Remember, the thing about this word devil, it's really being agreeable or disagreeable. And you can be agreeable one minute and disagreeable another minute. And you can look at something that you may consider agreeable to be disagreeable, and someone else can do the same, look at something that is disagreeable as agreeable. So it all depends on the situation. But overall, if you look at, you know, what they're doing, there's a lot of chaos, there's a lot of rumors of war, there's a lot happening that, like I said, just Revelation 18. Read the whole of Revelation 18 and go to 21, and like it tells you Babylon the Great is falling. It's falling, and come out of her, my people, so that you do not partake of the iniquities. And it's happening all around us right now. The whole world, you're seeing all the mudslides, you're seeing all the catastrophes that are going on around the planet. But if you read the whole thing, it tells you even the people that were fornicating and eating and from her, they are also going to partake of her plagues. And you're seeing it happening all around the world. So we're literally living through that whole Revelation 18. Read it to the end, and then you see what happens, how some people, it gives you all the bad things that are going to happen, and then at the end it tells you those who receive the crown of life and how, you know, they actually are protected and so on and so forth. So we're living in that period where we call the great and dreadful day of the Lord. And we keep telling everyone, warning everyone, telling everyone, get yourself together, get yourself, you know what I mean, clear your mind, get rid of this spell and start to live right, act right, so that, you know what I mean, you can not end up as a sandwich for some of these beings that are going to be basically food for the gods. Yeah, food for the gods. And people think the Master has never said anything that has not come to pass. So you have those who listen. If you have an ear, you listen, and those who don't listen. So, all right, let me take some other questions, Amal.
I do some more, thank you.
You're welcome. Wadu. Okay, I had a dream. Seemingly we were in formal meeting with President Trump, discussion, either him about our culture, Wu-Sabat, and that we must be let go to return to our planet and the covenant. Okay, that's your dream?
No.
No, I'm talking about the person.
That's what I'm interested in, because you know who talks about the Moses story.
Yeah, let my people go.
Yeah.
That's what I said, man. A lot of things repeat, as you said many times, right? Yeah, so, let my people go. Okay. Soul Daddy, 19 months as a member. Ashok Tawat. Thank you for your loyalty. And, you know, sometimes we ask people to focus on the simple things, you know, membership, subscribing, sharing the videos, liking, commenting. That helps. We've got a lot of work to do. Okay, we have another caller on the line. Greetings, Rahubat. Caller, what's your name, where you calling from, and what's your question?
Hey, my name is Julie. I'm calling from Tanzania.
Greetings.
Yeah, my question is about the symbols like the ankh. You know the ankh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was trying to differentiate between the Catholic and Jehovah's Witness. The crosses they use, the Jehovah's Witness, they don't use the cross, and you use the ankh, and Catholic use the cross nail. What is the difference between those three?
Oh, they stole the stuff that like the cross that comes from the ankh, because the ancient Egyptians predate the monotheistic religions, and they literally steal and borrow everything from us. There's a actual fact that actually goes into more detail about that. We have the Ankh, but our symbol is referred to as the Ankh Tui, because it's a double resonance. So we're very, what's that? Yeah, he ain't gonna be able to get hold of that though. But let me just see if I can find the one. Yeah, I'm listening.
So, do you know the Jehovah's Witness?
What do you mean? Do I know them? I know who. Yeah, I know who Jehovah's Witnesses are. But you know, what's the? Sorry, go on. What's your question about them?
The type of the symbol that they use, that Jesus was not crucified in that cross shape.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, we're not. How can I put this one? See, that's just taking us back into the spell of religion, because that whole Jesus and crucifixion and everything, we've explained many times that it didn't occur like the way that people think. But we're not really here to teach about Jehovah's Witness doctrine. That's them. Like we dealing with Wu-Sabat, and I'm trying to find this actual fact. But I think it's the Celtic, the actual fact I'm looking for. I think there's one upstairs. But if you want to give me that in the meantime, I can. But yeah, I'm saying, like, many people have symbols and they.
Thank you so much.
But it's not our doctrine. What's that you're giving me? Okay.
Thank you so much. I'm still on the live.
So I'm saying the Ankh, which is a symbol for life. If you look on the walls of Egypt and you look at a lot of the Egyptians, they always had the Ankh, which is that one, yeah. And this is we say a double Ankh, but it's really an Ankh Tui, and we explain and break down why we have a particular symbol. But when you look at the different variations of crosses, this whole thing about the Jehovah's Witness saying it was a different cross, the master teacher has already broken down in this degree of Christism. As you can see, he's got the cross at the top there, yeah. But he explains about what the Ankh is. I'll just read a bit of it. The Ankh is an old amulet of Egypt. The hieroglyphic sign of the Ankh means life, living and everlasting life. It refers to life in this physical world and life in the afterlife. The second life, that of the spirit. The symbol of the Ankh combines the generative principles of man and woman, a single design. The loop represents the feminine reproductive organs, while the remainder that of the male. It's also where the Christian's cross originates. What is the cross? The Great Mir Pyramid is the cross that represents the astronomical symbol of power and is symbolic of the planet Earth. This Mir Pyramid is one in line of the three forming the Orion constellation. Orion, when it says the cross is the pyramid, if you look at a pyramid from an aerial view, you will see like the cross where it talks about where the real character that they've made into Jesus, where he ended up, right? So let me keep going. So the word cross is a translation of the Greek word stauros, which means a stake or post as set upright, specifically a pole or cross as an instrument of capital punishment. The Greek word zulon means a stick, club. So, the master goes into great details, and then he starts to talk about the Greek version of the Christian ansanta was a cross in the form of a T, which represented the Greek tau, T mark, meaning resurrection, new life, the coming of rain, etc., etc. So I'm just going to show you this picture, if you can see it, but it shows you how the Ankh was then utilized to becoming the cross, the various types of crosses that you see today. But So what exactly is your question? Because I'm not trying to go into teaching about the cross and Jehovah's Witness doctrine, because we already explained to you that, you know, we're trying to get out of the spell of religion.
Yeah, I still understand it because I see a lot of people in our cities, in our locations. Those things spread out at large. That's why I was saying even there's some differences. That's why I had questions.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna get differences because symbols they actually have a vibration and energy with them. Because remember that, you know, the symbols mean a lot of things. It's like a logo of a business, or there is energy behind it and a vibration with it. So what I wanted to show you, if it's in this actual fact, yeah, so when you look at many organizations, they will have a symbol, and when you start to look at the mathematical properties of that symbol and the energy that it holds, you start to see why they chose that symbol. You know, many people on social media have looked at, say, a lot of companies' logos and have broken down, and it tells you who their allegiance or alliance is with. This is not the one I was thinking of. It's the one that has the different.
Can we accept those people when they come near us?
So I'm struggling to hear you properly. What did you just say?
Can we accept those people? For example, Jehovah's Witness, they have a tendency of coming house into house, spreading the news.
What do you mean?
Even
All right, let me deal with this. The name doesn't make sense. To be a witness, right? A witness is somebody that speaks on behalf of someone else, yeah? So if you were accused of a crime, you went to court, there will be a judge, and then you will call your witnesses to help present your evidence. So the question is, what crime did God commit to have witnesses, and who is the judge when you're saying, first of all, the name is, everything starts with the tone, the name. The word Jehovah doesn't exist because there are no J's or V's in the original language of the Hebrew. So you can't use the word Jehovah. When you're saying Jehovah, it's coming from Yahweh or Yahuwah, which is dealing with these same extraterrestrial beings that are responsible for putting this spell of religion. And so you're saying Yah and Way, or agreeable and disagreeable. People say good and bad. So who are you talking about when you're saying Jehovah, number one? You can't have the name Jehovah because there are no J's and V's in the Hebrew. So you have to get rid of that for a start and use the proper term. And that would be Yahuwah, and who refers to, when you're saying the Yahwehians, yeah, these disagreeable beings, all right? So that's one. And like I said, how can you be a witness for, they're using Jehovah as to say that's God, right? So like, if you have to speak on behalf or witness or be a witness, they're saying it like they're witness. It doesn't really make sense when you break it down. That's what I'm saying. You can't be a witness for God or Jehovah. So that's the name out of the way. But then you go back to the, okay, who started it? You start to look at, do you know Charles Russell, right? These were Masons, yeah? You had Charles Russell, and what's the other guy's name? That started, oh yeah, this is the perfect book. Look at that. Get this book, right?
Okay.
This is called History. And I just was trying to go into what I want to speak to you about, because a lot of people don't know that they were set up by these Freemasons. And when I say Freemasons, I'm talking about people like Albert Pike and So you have to recognize that, and when you say this to them, they don't actually, a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses don't do the research and know that they were set up by Freemasons. There we go. Right, here you go.
Okay.
So yeah, so I'm saying we don't really want to spend too much, because it's just another denomination of a Christian group that are not teaching actual facts, and they're still giving you religion. But that Wu-Sabat goes way before religion and before the spell. So as I said, I didn't really want to spend that much time on that whole question, but they're perpetrating and pushing. Where's the bit I want to find out? But yeah, do some research
Thank
on.
you so much, but can I ask one last question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so we live in the world every
See if you can
time
find that for
the
me. Yeah.
years pass by. Are we gonna have to wait for the end of the day, the last day? I mean,
Sorry, I didn't hear that. Did you say we have to wait for the last day? Amen.
yeah, like a lot of people believe that is the last day that.
There's no. That's what I'm saying. That's religion.
The last day.
That's religion. That's not. What do they mean by last day? Because
The day that the world is gonna maybe broke.
no, the last, the many last days for people that don't make it to the next day. That's their last day. But there's no one last day. Like what happens after that last day? What are they teaching you? This is religion and the spell. This is what we keep trying to say to people. Like, people believe someone's going to come to save them, and there's going to be a last day where everyone is judged. And that's religion. That's not reality. That's not going to happen like that. That's why we encourage people to study and read, and so that they will know. They will know what is real and what's not real, what's facts and what's not facts. And that's why Wu-Sabat is here. Wu-Sabat is here to give you the actual facts and dispel of this. I'm trying to find this stuff on. Yeah, to dispel the facts. I mean, dispel the spell with facts. Yeah, so Wu-Sabat, study Wu-Sabat, learn the facts.
Okay.
How can I not find this thing that I'm looking for? The Jehovah's Witness about Charles T. Russell and all that. It should be in there. Sorry, go ahead, Zamal, and then I'm gonna have to move on because time is. Oh, we got a new question.
So are you Freemasons?
Oh. Sorry, I thought it was Zamal, but Zamal Tap. Go ahead.
Yeah, are you Freemasons?
Am I from?
Freemasons.
No, I don't understand. Like, am I from Freemasons, did you say?
Yeah, are you Freemasons? Like, for example, the appearance maybe of the hats.
I'm struggling to hear what he's saying. But no, I'm not from.
Those symbols appear in like Freemasons symbols.
Yeah, but I'm not hearing the question. It depends on what you know about what you're calling Freemasons and who you're talking about. But we teach that we have many orders, and you have to be what's the word I'm looking for? Close to get more information about some of the information that we don't talk about or teach publicly. But we are the original Masonic order, or Egyptian Masonic order, because when you say Freemason, you're talking about builders and people that were the original builders, and the building such as the pyramids and certain things that have been built till this day are still a mystery to many people. But you have to get more information in terms of, oh, you know where I'm going to find it. Yeah, this is where maybe I'll find it. Sorry, I'm listening, but at the same time, I'm still trying to look for the information I wanted to share with you. But yeah, if you want to know more about, have you actually, are you new to Wu-Sabat?
New to what?
To us. Like, have you, is this your first time?
I'm actually new. I just made this account today.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I would say start off with joining our classes and joining our groups, like the Telegram groups, because a lot of the things you're asking we've already covered, and start to read some of the scrolls.
Okay.
Because some of the information you have to get the basic foundations first.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Thank you so much for all the time.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It bugs me when I can't find something I'm looking for. But in the meantime, let's take another question.
Hi, my name is Joshua.
Let me call that person back.
Okay.
And I'll play this.
Tua. Rahubat. Okay. Have I found it? No, that's not him. I think people's calls keep dropping.
Yeah, they're cool because it crashes, so they keep calling, but because everyone calling at the same time, it's crashing.
Okay. I'm gonna if I don't find it today, I'll deal with it next week. Charles T. Russell. Let me see if anybody in the chat might have. Can't find it. Okay, let's have a look in the chat right now. It's not. Just gonna ignore it. Is that the time already?
That's probably a viewer, you know. That's calling.
Wow, I still got lots of questions to answer. Let me see if I can.
Voice note.
Go on then.
How old is your organization?
We predate time. I know, like, if you're talking about when we first started being public is when the master teacher Panda Babyanun opened the seventh seal in 1970. He's been teaching prior to that, but as far as Nuwapian, or we go back to the stars, to our ancestors from Orion and Sirius. So our culture itself has been around for a very long time. But yeah, from 1970 till now. So we've been around a long time, but we've been known by many different names and the many different schools that we were going through at the time. So you may find us as the Holy Tabernacle Ministries, the Ansarullah Community, Nubian Islamic Hebrews, and now Nuwapian Islamic Hebrews, Wunupu, Wunuwap. These are different aspects of our learning and our culture. And then you have, obviously, most people are familiar today with the term Wu-Sabat, which ties us all the way back to before time as you know it here was, made up. Okay, we have a live caller. Greetings, Rahubat caller. What's your name? Where you calling from? And what's your question, please?
Hello, greetings, peace and love.
Greetings.
Yeah, so I had two questions. So my first question, I wanted to ask, because I started watching a lot of Dr. Malachi videos a while ago, and that's how I was able to find you guys, and I'm so grateful that you guys are continuing his work. So I wanted to know, was he the one that created this religion, or well, you guys don't believe in religion? Well, I would say this organization, and also I wanted to know more about Dr. Malachi, like his situation. Is he ever coming out of jail, or is that like a plan of God that you guys are aware of?
Okay, so the first question, as you said, is we're not a religion. We have a culture and a way of life, but we've studied, by him teaching us, we've studied everything, because we are the next teachers of this new 24,000 year cycle. In terms of, yes, you could say he's the founder, and he was chosen and selected by the forces of nature to come and incarnate here in this day and time to bring about the new cycle people refer to as the sun cycle of the next 24,000 years, where the first thing, or one of the purpose of his incarnation, is to dispel of lies. And even though in religions they talk about the truth will come. Everybody's been waiting for the truth. When the truth comes, all false things will perish. And that's what he represents. He represents that what we call the Son of Righteousness that you read in Malachi chapter 4. He represents the being spoken about in the books of Revelation. And if you read the first line, it talks about the angel that will be sent. He's known by many titles. In religion, he's known as the angel Michael. He's known as Michael in the Quran. He's known as Al-Kut, Murdoch, Melchizedek, Tahuti, because he is the holder of all the secrets, of all the secret information, as well as the information that is going to wake everybody up from this spell that they've been under for the last 6,000 years. Most know it as religion, but it's also the spell of Leviathan, or the spell of Kingu, which was really put together by the Luciferian order. So when you read the books of Revelation and it talks about Michael and his angels fought against the dragon and his angels, you're talking about the draconian or the reptilian beings that were cast down here, or came down here. And it says that Michael and his angels, right? And when you're reading in the Greek, it says angelos, or you're dealing with this archangel who everyone was after his order. When you're saying Malachi, or when you say Melchizedek, you're really saying Melzedek or Malachi Zodok. The word Zodok means justice, which ties into Malachi chapter 4 verse 2 about the justice that will come. Because justice, when you bring justice, is that you're coming to judge those that are guilty. And so he's known by many titles, and the best of those titles is known as Yanun. So if you go and do some research of the Bible, you know that Moses was after the order of Melchizedek. Abraham was after the order of Melchizedek. Jesus was called the Prince, yeah? And he Melchizedek, is known as the King of Salem, or that Salem becomes Salam, or the King of Peace. So yeah, he's here to bring truth to the world and dispel of six ether forces that were, there are many books that you can read. When I say six ether forces, like I mentioned this one here, the Luciferian Conspiracy. We have all these books, by the way. We have the books called Leviathan, the Antichrist. So he's the one that prophesies a lot of what's happening right now. So go ahead, you're going to say something.
Yes. So, well, when you say he, do you mean like he's just that one person? Like, they talk about Christ that's gonna return, or is it gonna be multiple teachers? Do we have Bobby Hammett?
Yeah.
For example, what about Elijah Muhammad? What do you think about?
Great question. Great question. So it tells you that after Elijah, remember, there's two Elijahs when you're dealing with the Elijah of the past and how he, the Tishbite by way of John the Baptist, he was asked, Elijah was asked, are you that Elijah that was going to come? Because obviously he was heralding the Messiah. The same principle where you're dealing with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, yes, he was that being that was going to herald in the Black Messiah, which is who Parnabab Yanun is. And so the people prior to him, they were doing the work to a certain degree, but like they only could take it so far because they were based, their foundation was based on religion. So when you look at the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, you're dealing with Islam. You look at all the other people prior to him, Noble Drew Ali, etc. They were all based on the foundation of religion. Whereas it says, if you study what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad himself was saying, he gave accounts, and I mean, I could actually spend quite a lot of time on this question. It's such a great question. But he spoke about the next person that was going to come was bring this book called the Book of Lambs. That's the holy tablets that we have right here. Or this person was going to give you a new form of a new Arabic. But he didn't, he was prophesizing things, but it wasn't quite 100 sure. But he used to point to the master teacher to tell them that this is the person that you should be following afterwards. And so, yeah, there are lots of prophecies that were given. I'm going to see if I can, depending on, yeah, we still got a bit of time. I'm going to try and read you something which explains and answers your question very, very well. Although I might not have time to go through all of it. But yeah, so you have to learn and get to know who he is. You say you've been watching some of the videos already, so
yes,
he talks about who he is and so forth. But let me just read you this. So that is like your question basically. It says, please explain the connection of no deity except Allah, Master Fard Muhammad, and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the messenger of Allah as it relates, yeah, to the Neshama, which I spoke about earlier on, which is that divine essence. Okay, Master Fard Muhammad to Sheikh Abdullah Muhammad, then Sheikh Dawood Ahmed Faisal, all the way to Wallace Dean and the mission of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and of course your divine mission, and work to set the whole record straight. So the master teacher explains, he says, my beloved son, Nabab Qasid, in the English class lessons of the Nation of Islam composed by W.F. Muhammad, according to them, it states, who is Allah? Supreme being, black man of Asia. So he included all black men as Allah. And that was part of their teachings. Asiatic black man, maker, owner, cream of the planet Earth, father of civilization and God of the universe. Okay, so it goes on to say, so all black people are in fact alihat, Allahs. The plural, as in the Bible, you see Elohim, Elohas, plural. And there is no other race on this planet originally except the original sand people, black and brown germ. The first, the last, the gods of everything and everyone. And to the Nation of Islam, the supreme beings, to them between 1930 AD and 1943 was a man in flesh and blood called Master Fard Muhammad in the person inside this physical body. was the attribute of the Islamic religions Allah. So he was to them Allah in the person of W.F. Muhammad. Yeah, and the soul of Allah. And it goes on, but I wanna get to the bit where it explains, because this is quite long and I don't want to go through all of it. Yeah. So
Yes.
yeah, go ahead.
I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want you to go too long because you still haven't answered the last question about how's Dr. Malachi's situation right now.
Okay, thank you.
And
Yeah.
what
So
is the whole plan?
yeah, he's definitely coming out, but that depends on us and what we do, because all this is about is to see if we are able to come together and unite as one people. Yeah. So that includes, as you say, the Nation of Islam, the Hebrew Israelites, the Christians, the Muslims. It's about the unity of us as a people. And so everybody, well, I say everybody, but we want him out, but it's also about what we do, and he has asked us to unite. But yeah, the answer is yes, he's definitely coming out, but it also depends on what we do, because we are the reason, as in, because we're not uniting, we're still, a lot of people are still under the spell of religion and still divided, still about competition, still about, you see, we talk to different people to give them the information and bring awareness to the master teacher's situation. But yeah, definitely he is coming out.
Yes, we are divided. That's true. That is one fact. That's my last question. So
Okay.
and I'll let somebody call and ask a question.
No.
I've been following the Nation of Islam for a while.
Yeah.
It's like I studied a lot of other teachers, great teachers. It's like I studied Dr. Malachi.
Yeah.
But recently I've came across a few knowledge about the empire that was in America. They say that the Haitian Empire. That was all over even the main lane, because we left a lot of evidence. But I noticed a lot of these teachers, they never spoken about that. What do you think about us, man, and it being, being back then we had a whole empire, we used to run the whole world.
Yeah, remember that the whole planet was one landmass at one point before the continental drift, and we literally were in every continent, and that's why we're indigenous everywhere you go. But at the same time, when the continental drift took place, people remain on different parts, and you look at the empires, the Mali Empire with Mansa Musa, and you look at basically anywhere. You can look at Ghana, you can look at Igbo land, Yoruba. There's so many places where the wealth and the resources and everything, so yeah, we ruled many empires, and like I said, when the continental drift took place, and then eventually we started to lose, like many empires fall, and even the one that today everyone was looking at as the America and so forth, that's also falling now. So you've had many Greek Empire, the Roman Empire, even when you're looking at what they're calling the Middle East today, they've also fallen. The Babylonian Empire, dealing with the Sumerians and all of that also fell. So yes, that is true. When we were in rulership before 6,000 years ago, we that's why now it's coming back full circle, where we're going back into the power of 9 ether and the sun cycle, and melanin children are waking back up because of this sun cycle, this new energy, and of course with the guidance of Pa Nabab Yanun being that first one, and then he's, like you were just asking, made other people. So when people are saying there's a Christ consciousness or there's an anointing, it's because he's the one that has taught many of the student teachers, and including myself, and we now, you know, taking it out there as his disciples, and we're teaching and waking people up by way of actual facts, Patarak, the way, and the master secrets. Yeah, there's so much stuff here I want to read you, but as you said, we've kind of run out of time. But yeah, I don't know where you're based and if you're close to any community, or if you attend our classes weekly, or if you're even in the Telegram group. I'm sure the links are all posted in the chat. Yeah, they are. The official Telegram group, how you can, you know, get more involved so you can know a lot more from the inside out as opposed to just what we share publicly.
Yes, I'm in America, but I have you guys WhatsApp, so you can always send me the link.
Okay, tour. But the great book to read about the master teacher and the whole tie of, it's called The Guidance. The actual fact is number 45. It's called The Guidance, and it goes into a lot of detail about your question.
But yeah, I'll let somebody else ask a question. But I just want to tell you, thank you so much for your answers, and thank you guys, the whole team, the whole organization, for the constant work you guys all keep on doing. Just keep on keeping on, because like I listen to a lot of Dr. Malachi lecture. I'd be at work with my headphones on my head, and the things he said, I never heard people talk like that. So that's inspiring to see a black man in that level.
Thank you. And yeah, we all give, you know, we give gratitude to the master teacher, and we love him. We want him home, and we want everybody to.
I really want to see him out. Like, it's crazy, that level of knowledge he was saying, and the way just, even the Nation of Islam, I feel like we should all fight for him. Everybody.
That's right, and that's what it needs to happen. We need to all come together and unite, because, you know, that's what they do. They come after and try to suppress our leaders. But this time round, no, we're going to unite. We're going to bring him home, and it's actual facts. It's real. You know, this is not the foundation is strong. It's not based on, you know, religion and things that are fading away. But ultimately, it is about our unity. And he wrote books for all the organizations to show them, like, you know, like, this is for you. It's to bring us together. But unfortunately, a lot of people are still caught under the spell, and more of us have to do our part. You know, each one teach one, and that's what we do here at OSM Vision. Thank you.
Peace, love, blessing, brother.
To Hatat Ashok. Wow, I think we've come to the end. Rahubat student teacher Saken, during transition, physical death, is there a chant or acknowledgement we say to not come back? No, it's not that simple, because everybody will just wait till that moment and do the chant. It's based on what you've done and how you've lived your life and how you've elevated and how you've grown that light within you, your soul, or the neshama. You have to be able to show by way of your actions and your work. All right, that's how you won't come back. And the way you've lived and the things you've done, everything is recorded in your matrix, and the elders will look at that record to see, just to see that you're ready, because your matrix, your energy speaks for itself anyway. So you don't have to say a word. But yeah, that's the last question I see. If you didn't get your question answered today, please join the Telegram group. You can ask there or tune in again next week and ask your question. You can always join the classes as well that we have and ask your questions. You can even film yourself asking your questions and sending them in. We have many, many avenues. We're very accessible and very transparent. So you can always get your questions answered. We are the only ones really answering questions with facts. And we love it. We like doing it because we love to see when people wake up and start to live their purpose. All right. So yes, I want to say thank you to all the people that support us. Thanks for the gifts. Thanks for the things you send to us, your books, your products, etc. Everything that you send to us, we're very, very grateful for. And thanks for your support. Thanks for liking the videos. Thanks for sharing the videos. Thanks for making the comments. Of course, the subscriptions, everything you do to help us to continue to do this. And we're very, very grateful. So until next week, same time.